Peer review is an extensive and critical analysis of existing literature on a particular topic to synthesize and summarize the current state of knowledge on the topic, highlight major findings and trends, provide new insights on the topic, and identify areas for future research. Reviews can take various forms, including review articles, term papers, seminar papers, and non-thesis reviews. In this video, we are going to be looking at how to write a quality, comprehensive, and constructive review following a simple 5-step technique. And we will also look at different relevant SMART tools to make every step hands-on and make your writing experience fun. But before we move ahead, I'd like to make this critical point. The steps I share in this video are also applicable to writing the literature review section of a research paper, project, or thesis. So this video is not your regular tutorial on YouTube. Without further ado, let's get started. Here is the thing. The world of academia is fundamentally a journey of exploration to identify a gap, understand the gap, build capacity to fill the gap, and fill the gap. Academic writing is a way of representing or presenting this exploration for ease of accessibility and usability beyond academia. And a key form of academic writing is a review. The function of reviews in academic communication cannot be overemphasized. And before we move on to how to write a review, it is very important to know the function, the why of reviews. Because when we know the why, understanding the how becomes a lot easier. So let's take a look at some of the significant functions of a review. Function number 1, the first why of a review: consolidate existing research. A review is used to synthesize findings and insights from multiple studies to identify patterns and trends and provide a comprehensive overview of a particular topic in a field. Fundamentally, a review makes evidence-based information about a topic more accessible and understandable. The second why: identify gaps in research. A review critically analyzes the literature on a topic, highlighting areas where research is lacking or incomplete. That is, a review identifies under-investigated areas within a subject that can be explored for further studies. The third function of a review curates context and justifies scientific debate. Reviews help situate new research findings within the existing body of knowledge and provide a narrative that explains how a particular research process has evolved. It serves as a platform for evaluating existing theories and methodologies and provides the basis for proposing new interpretations or approaches. The fourth function: a review serves as an educational tool. Review serves as valuable educational resources as they provide a comprehensive overview of the current state of knowledge on a topic. This makes them particularly useful for students and new researchers who need an introduction to a subject area or a comprehensive background for their studies. The fifth function: they can serve to guide policy and practice. This is particularly applicable in applied disciplines, where reviews provide evidence-based information that can help policymakers, practitioners, and educators make informed decisions based on the latest research. Those are the 5 key functions of reviews. So, in essence, reviews are fundamental to the advance of knowledge, providing an understandable, useful, and accessible comprehensive synthesis of evidence-based information that supports both academic and practical applications. Now that we know the why of reviews, let's head over to the 5-step technique of writing a review. Step one. Step one is still taking us back to what we just discussed, the why of reviews. Clarify your purpose. Why are you writing your review? Who is going to read it? What is the review about? Is it going to be an overview of the existing research? Is it to identify gaps? Is it for policymakers or practitioners? Your first step is to clearly define the purpose and scope of your review. This will help you focus your writing. All right, let's head over to step 2. But before then, if step 1 is not fully clear to you, don't stress. You will understand better in this step 2. So, step 2. Step 2, conduct a thorough search of relevant literature. Go out there and do the searching. Do the digging to find the relevant literature. This is the reason step 1 is crucial. If you don't have a clearly defined goal for your review, you will find it difficult to know which literature is relevant or not. And the searching process becomes frustrating. So ensure step 1 is properly handled. In conducting a thorough search of relevant literature, there are about 4 useful techniques for finding relevant literature. Now, here is the thing. This part of the process can take a lot of time if you don't have the right approach. You can waste a lot of time with no helpful results, and you don't want that. So, as usual, I will be showing you 4 techniques and tools to get your search for the right literature right. Technique number 1 is what we called academic search engine scrabbling. Just like Google is a search engine for the rest of the internet, an academic search engine is pretty much a search engine for academic materials. Google Scholar, Research Rabbit, and Consensus are really powerful academic search engines in this respect. In terms of finding materials that are super relevant to your topic or the keywords you are looking at, these tools are super useful. I will be dropping the link to the tutorial on these tools in the description. What also makes these tools really useful is that they let you know how often a particular journal article has been cited. So you have an idea of the authority and the credibility of any particular article. So step 2 is getting into these academic search engines and having a dig through all of the literature that is there. A good way to identify which literature is relevant is to read through the abstract. By the way, a challenge you might encounter while using academic search engines is that some of the papers might not be free to download. And that brings us to technique number 2, online library or academic database. Every university should have a database where their lecturers and the student can have access to their licensed set of content. So those materials you got via academic search engines, technique number one, that are not free to download. You are to copy their titles exactly as you find them in the academic search engine, and then paste the title into your university online library database search bar. And most often, you will be able to access them there. But if you can't, then you might want to send a message over to your institution's librarian rather, and ask if there is a way they could help you access the paper. Let's head over to technique number three. Technique number three is what we call recycling. What do you do here? Now, what you do here is this. Among your search results, select those pieces of literature that are significantly relevant to your topic, go to the references section and go and find those papers referenced in the references section of the paper of the article, especially the most recent ones, via an academic search engine like Google Scholar or Research Rabbit. Or you can also do that by pasting the title to your university database and retrieve those that are relevant to your review for a reuse. Now, let's head over to technique number four, dissertations. Have a look at dissertations that are related to your topic. Check the description for link to some major dissertation database. So that is step number two. But one more thing before we head over to step number three. I should mention that you must ensure that you keep track of all the literature and sources you find during your search for proper citation and references. A tool you will find very useful here is Zotero. I will drop in this description the link to our tutorial on how to use Zotero in academic writing. And moreover, Zotero is a tool that you will also find really useful in our next step, which is step three. Now, step three of how to write a review. Organize the literature you find. This is an interesting part of the process of writing your review, and the approach you use and how you pay attention are key to the flow of your writing and the sources of your review. There are three techniques you will explore in organizing the literature you find. You will log, catalog, and synthesize the literature that you find. Now, it is important that you know that step 2 and 3 do go simultaneously. What this means is that as you are finding relevant literature, you are also logging, cataloging, and synthesizing it. It is like a cycle. You find literature that is relevant, you log, catalog, and synthesize, and as more new thoughts come, you go search for more literature, then log, catalog, and synthesize. So how do you log, catalog, and synthesize the literature you find? By logging, you get the literature you find into your reference management tools. Go through our tutorial on Zotero to learn how to log the literature you find. The link to the tutorial is in the description. So as you find literature, log it into your reference manager. All right. Technique 2, catalog your information. As you find literature, don't be tempted to think that you will remember all the information about the literature you find. The reality is that you will not. As you gather more and more literature, it is going to become such massive information that you will start to confuse which paper or author says this or that, or what this literature or that is about. If you are going to do a quality review, you are going to be working with probably 100 to 200 or above pieces of literature. You know how many references, sources, and pieces of information you are dealing with. Without a proper approach, there is no way you are going to remember all these references, sources, and information and navigate them. So it becomes really important to catalog the literature you find as you find it. And I recommend you build your own catalog of the literature you find in Excel. We have a sample template you can use. What the catalog database needs to look like and what information needs to be in it are well laid out in the free template. And however, you can create more feeds as required to ensure that you have as many details as possible in the database and build the catalog in a way that you can find it easy to navigate when you are finally writing up your review. The link to download the template is in description. The whole idea here is that you have a personal database of all the literature you find during your search in step 2. Here, it is worth mentioning that sometimes it will feel like you are doing double work, having to build a catalog and put all that detail in them, and then still having to go and write about them in your write-up. Honestly, writing a review takes time, and over the course of writing, you are not going to remember all the information you have gathered. So it will be very helpful to build a catalog of all the literature you find. All right, let's head over to technique 3, synthesize. Technique 3 is about digesting the whole literature you find and synthesizing all the information in your head, thinking about how it all fits together. There are not so many prescriptions that I can give here. You've got to take time to think about how the purpose of your review has been addressed by the literature you have gathered. How does all the content in the literature fit together for your review, and what narrative are you going to build with it? Take your time to think about how you combine all of this content into a cohesive write-up, that is, into a constructive narrative, and understand that this is not what you are going to complete in a few hours. This will probably take you weeks. And what I'd like to recommend is that you use a separate exercise book where you can document your ideas, curate your checklist, highlight your narratives, and then make notes. You can also explore visual aids like mind mapping to map your ideas and the pieces of information you are getting while synthesizing the literature content. To do that, you can also make use of mind mapping tools like MindMap or other available tools that you find helpful. Or as alternative, you can use a sizable whiteboard alongside 2 or 3 markers of different colors and freehand with your ideas, raising your critiques and connecting your insights to one another as they are interconnected, bringing all the pieces in your literature together for a constructive flow and connection. But whatever works for you, just ensure that you take your time to properly synthesize all your literature before you proceed to writing your review. This will help you have a broad view of all your content and a deep view at the same time, which is very useful to help you build a quality, comprehensive, and a consultative narrative for your review. Short PDF will be really useful in your synthesizing process. We have a tutorial on that. I will drop a link to that tutorial below this video in the description. So that is step 3 of how to write quality review. Log it, catalog it, and then synthesize it. Now on to step 4, write and build up a quality narrative. To build a quality narrative in your review, you are going to explore 2 techniques: outlining and then writing up. You are going to first outline and then write up. Outlining is about structuring your discussion upfront. You don't want to have diligently gone through the rigor of steps 1 to 3 and now come to this point to do a poor job of communicating your point. So outlining is about you getting back onto your synthesis in step 3 and spending some time exploring it to design how you are going to approach and build up a quality narrative for your review. There are 2 ways you can structure a review. One is chronologically, where your structure is based on how that narrative is developed in order of flow. And the second way is thematically, where it's based on how the themes are grouped. And your choice of one of the 2 structures is dependent on the purpose and scope of your review. However, if you need assistance in this respect, you are more than welcome to book a free consultation with one of our research specialists at Academia Cafe. We will be excited to give you some helpful advice. Whichever structure you choose, make sure you outline it first. This gives you something that you can start with, a clear idea of how you are going to build up your narrative while writing up your review. That is technique 1 for writing and building up a quality narrative for your review. And technique 2, writing up. Writing up your review is pretty much on you. If you have taken note of all the other techniques from step 1 up until now, writing up your review should be an amazing ride for you. There is a very important point that I'd like you to keep in mind while writing up your review. Don't try to be perfect at your first draft. Just keep your focus on getting down your content. Otherwise, you will get yourself stuck trying to convey your point perfectly. And once you are done getting down your content in your first draft, I will suggest that you take a day or 2 away from the review to help clear your mind, because your mind would have been foggy by this time. Then come back, have a read through, do a bit of rough editing to improve the flow, apply appropriate headings and subheadings, and insert or curate relevant visual aids such as tables, figures, charts, or diagrams in section where applicable to illustrate key points, patterns, and trends, depending on the purpose and scope of your review. To discover or curate coherent and cohesive relevant visual illustrations such as tables, charts, or diagrams for your review, you will have to look at the patterns, trends, and insights in all your literature as related to the significance and impacts in public health, ecosystems, economies, environmental, and communal issues, either separately or combined. All right. However, if you are unclear about that, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at Academia Cafe for a free consultation. So as you do your edits, it is important that you keep your focus on making yourself clear, cohesive, and understandable, and building your narrative into a linkable flow that is well organized and easy to navigate. Now let's head over to step number 5. Proofread your final write-up. Revise and edit your write-up to enhance the overall quality of your review, ensuring it communicates your idea clearly and effectively. Check for mistakes and grammatical errors, and make sure your narrative flows logically. All right, but I'd like to recommend that after finishing your writing, take a break, a day or two before you start proofreading. Fresh eyes are more likely to spot areas that need corrections or adjustments. And it is kind of more helpful to proofread for different elements separately. First, check for spelling and typographical errors, then grammar, then punctuation, and finally, flow and clarity. You can utilize grammar checkers tools as a first pass, but don't rely solely on them, as they might miss context-specific errors or nuanced grammatical issues. Tools like Colibot, Tracker, or Grammarly are handy in this respect. And also, I often advise let someone else read your review and give you feedback. And after all of that, then follow up with another revision and edit. After then, you can send your review over to where you want to send it, either your supervisor, a journal, a publication firm, or your course lecturer. So that is pretty much the 5-step technique for writing a quality, comprehensive, and a constructive review. In summary, step 1, clearly define the purpose and the scope of your review. This will help you focus on your writing. Step 2, conduct a thorough search of relevant literature. Step 3, organize the literature you find, log it, catalog it, and synthesize it. Step 4, write and build up a quality narrative. First, outline, and then write up. And finally, step 5, proofread your final write-up to ensure you communicate your ideas clearly and effectively. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you need one assistance or the other on your research workflows, we will be glad to be of help. Reach out to us. And until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, give us your suggestion, and until next time, gracias.